Hello and welcome to day 2 of our Orono Top Sew Along. Today we're going to be assembling the top up until the zipper. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to serge or finish all the raw edges on your sleeves, your front and back pieces as well. And you're just doing the long seams, so the seams on the arms and then the seams on the side of your bodice. Make sure you can still see the marks that you left because you're going to need those when we get to the pocket assembly. Once you've serged these raw edges, we're going to be hemming the pieces individually. So we're going to hem the back and then the two front pieces. So go ahead and do that. Okay, so now that we've gone ahead and hemmed all of our front and back pieces, we're going to start working on attaching the sleeves to the bodice. To start, we're going to sew this dart on the tops of the shoulders of the sleeves. Okay, so to start, we're going to go ahead and fold right along the edge of that dart, the cut edge. I'm going to fold it there and just clip it at the top to hold it in place. And then you're going to find the mark of the bottom and stick a pin right there to hold it in place. And then just make sure that it kind of lays nice and flat right along that edge. So I'm going to go ahead and use my serger and just sew right along that edge. You can use a serger or a regular sewing machine, whichever you prefer, as long as you use a 3/8 inch seam allowance going down. As you can see, I sewed the darts. So the next step is going to be beginning to attach the front and back bodice pieces to those. We're going to attach 3 of the sides, all except the left front shoulder, because that's where our zipper is going to go. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is find my front bodice pieces. I'm going to lay them out, and I'm going to want the edge that comes to a point. I'm going to want that to be I'm going to want the left one to be on the top. So as you can see, this is going to be my left shoulder when I'm wearing the top. So I'm going to want this piece to be on top. So I'm going to find my other front bodice piece and I'm going to lay it out underneath that. So I'm going to lay that down and then lay my other front piece over the top. So when I'm wearing it, this is going to be my left shoulder and this is my right shoulder. Okay, so the next step after you've kind of laid out those front bodice pieces is we're going to take the right arm, which is going to be this one, and I'm going to go ahead and pin it to both front bodice pieces right at the shoulder. So when you're pinning to the front bodice pieces, you're going to want to make sure that you start by lining the front bodice pieces up at the top edge, and you'll pin them kind of slowly down the edge. You'll have a little bit left over when you get to this edge. You'll have the hemmed edge will be a little bit shorter than the other, which is what you want. So make sure you don't pull that to the corner. You're going to kind of have a little bit of extra leeway, and that's for your seam allowance. There should be like about 3/8 of an inch, maybe a little bit more there. So just make sure that you don't pull it all the way because you don't want that hem to be caught up in your side seam when you go ahead and sew that. So just be careful with that as you assemble. We'll go ahead and attach that. You can pin, I'm going to do, like I said, all the other sides except for this shoulder side. So go ahead and attach the back bodice to both sleeves and the front bodice to the right sleeve. Okay, so I've gone ahead and attached all 3 of the shoulder seams. So the right front and back and the left back. So the next step is going to be, we're going to attach the collar on the top. And so for that, what we're going to do is we're going to, you're going to fold the collar piece in half and press that. And then you're going to fold over the top edge another 3/8 of an inch and press that. I would maybe recommend using hem tape on that edge, just because with the quilted knit and the sweater fleece, it's a little thick and it's going to be a little hard to get that to press. So go ahead and again, fold in half, press, and then fold 3/8 and press, and then come back. Okay, so I've gone ahead and pressed that center seam, and then I've pressed down one of the edges 3/8 of an inch. I was out of my hem tape, so I just used clips. But the next thing you're going to do is you're going to quarter the raw edge that's not folded. So I went ahead and quartered that, and then you're going to take your neck and you're going to do the same thing. So you're going to quarter it, and then you'll pin the neckband on. So I'm going to start by finding my, let's see, here's one edge, here's our other. So I'm going to fold it in half. And this is going to be, all your quarter points are going to be completely different than you're used to, since we're doing it with just one sleeve sewn all the way. So just keep that in mind as you're clipping. Okay, so I have all my quarter points marked on my neckband. And so now you're going to go ahead and pin your neckband in place. And you're going to leave that edge that we folded over, leave that alone. You're just going to sew this raw edge to this edge. And you're going to make sure on your front piece, you have two pieces, obviously, for the curved bodice. So make sure that you catch both of those when you are clipping, so that you don't lose one. So I'm going to go ahead and clip that in place, and then clip all my other quarter points. And then you'll go ahead and sew that on with your 3/8 inch seam allowance. Okay, so I've gone ahead and attached the neckband all the way around. And I also pressed my seam up towards the collar. So it's gonna, eventually it'll get hidden underneath our nice folded edge. But for now, we're just pressing it up so that it's nice and flat. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to start working on the actual zipper.